All right. Hey, everybody. So I wanted to go over a couple things related to revenue-based financing. There's a number of new players out there emerging every day offering this. So I figured I would just kind of walk through some of the mechanics of this and answer some of those questions, in a more scalable fashion. So what we have here is a pretty, simplified model of how revenue-based financing plays out for any given startup. So here's kind of the information that the startup information relevant to the startup. And we've got some outputs here. So there's kind of all of the relevant outputs of our model. And then down here is just kind of the equivalent of an amortization table. It shows as time passes from February 2020 all the way down to 10 years into the future. Um, with certain revenue, with certain loan payments, how does this all play out? How long does it take you to pay? What size payments do you make, et cetera, et cetera. So this is kind of the equations that are running in the background, and then up here is the summary of what's going on. So just to show everybody how this works, here we have a scenario where we've got 250K of starting monthly revenue. This company's growing at 3%, so you can see every month their revenue increases by 3% based on the previous month's revenue. So that starts to scale up pretty quick, right? They go from 356 to 367 and eventually hit a million in 24, the year 2024, which is of course just constant growth every month, 3%. So linear fashion. Anyways, and then they take out a 100K loan starting today, so 250K per month. They take out 100K, maybe it's to cover inventory, some advertising, etc. And then the way I've set up this fee is you can see here it is 6% of the total loan amount. So the reason that is because that's kind of coming to be a standard, at least at the moment. I think Clearbank charges right around there. So I drop that in as a default, and then similar with the repayment rate. And so if you don't understand what a repayment rate is, basically this is you're going to be paying back the lender 6% of your revenue on a monthly basis. And some people set it up on a daily basis. Some people set it up monthly. So for this example, we do monthly 6%. And as you can see here, this loan payment is 6% of 250K, which is this month's revenue. And then obviously the this is like kind of the unique attribute of revenue-based financing is as the revenue goes up, your payment goes up as well. And the flip side of that is, which is really the real advantage to founders, is if your revenue were to go down, your payment goes down as well, which is really helpful so that you're not locked into some term loan where you have to make those payments regardless, even if you have a terrible month. It's just going to be a percentage of your revenue. So as long as you can float that, you're going to be fine, which is really one of the huge advantages to revenue-based financing. But the other thing I want to call out is with if you kind of understand the way APRs are calculated, this APR is going to change based on all of these factors as well, based on how long it takes you to pay it back. So let's say you aren't making 250K and instead you're making 120K per month. So now it takes you a little longer to pay it back. That's great. Your APR actually goes down because it's the same exact fee, right? You're still paying back that 106K, which is 6% of the 100. Still paying back that exact same amount just over a longer period of time. And APR is literally the amount of money you pay back over a certain period of time. So that's going to change accordingly. Now, the flip side of this is, what if you you just have a great, you start taking off, right? The advertising works, the marketing works. You've spent the 100K wisely. So now you're making 600K per month. Your APR shoots up to 44%, basically. So, you're paying this off in nearly 2 months, but 44% is pretty expensive capital. This might be your only option, but if you know that 100K is going to get you these results and you're going to shoot up to 600K per month, you might want to go with a different option where you actually can borrow this money for 9%, and you're going to save a lot of money on this fee because you're paying $6,000 to borrow that 100K, and you only have that money for 2 months before you pay it back. or 2 and 3/4 months basically. Um, so it's something to consider. This is really the big trade-off is time versus the cost of capital, because then you end up with an APR, and you have to understand for your company what's the most important, right? Maybe the APR doesn't matter because you need this 100K to grow. Maybe you want the flexibility of it going, of that APR going down, and kind of flexing with your revenue. So again, going way back to, you just have a, you spend the 100K and it doesn't work out, and then you end up going down to 25K. You're still going to be able to pay that off. It's just going to take you 38 months. Obviously, that's not the ideal outcome for the lender, because now they've lent you that money and they're waiting 3 years for it to be paid back versus 3 months in the last example. And then, of course, these other factors can change. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful in terms of showing everybody how to think through this. If you want this calculator, you can check it out on the site, bootstrap.co. So it's available for everybody to use. And feel free to ping me with any questions. Have some additional information in the description below. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. Take care.